Welcome back, friends, to another episode of Trade Show University. I'm your host, Jim Cermak, and we are going to have an amazing conversation today talking about things that we have not talked about on this podcast before. One of those being Web3, and then we're also talking about community building and a lot of things around that. And before we get started in that, I just want to make sure, remind you, I've got so many great episodes coming up, so please be sure that you are subscribed to your favorite podcast player and get over to the website and sign up for our email newsletter at tradeshowu.biz. It's tradeshow, the letter U.biz. Let's talk about Web3, and I am really excited to have on today Rachel B. Lee. Rachel is a fearless brand marketing lady boss. She is the co-owner and CMO of Standout Authority, helping C-level executives, entrepreneurs, business owners, and working professionals define their personal brand, create influence through content, and build human connections online through the power of LinkedIn. And she's also part of the LinkedIn Creator Program. And so I know there's a lot of you right now that are going, yes, I'm in the right place. So, Rachel, welcome to Trade Show University. Say hi to all of our event professionals out there.
Hello, my event professionals. I love you all so much. Great to be here.
Oh my gosh, I really glad that you were able to make this on today, because this is a topic I'm also just trying to learn a lot more about. And I just want to start at the high level and Web3. What is Web3? And I guess while you're talking about that, why should we in the event industry really be focused in on it?
Yeah, great questions. Well, thanks for having me. So, Web3, what is this thing? It's really the evolution of where we are. So, if you think about Web 1, think about that as I heard a great example. Remember like Encyclopedia Britannica,
Oh yeah,
right?
yep,
Like
grew up with that. Yeah.
right. So it was, you had your disc. It was definitely a one-way conversation, static pages. You consumed information, not really enter any interactivity, right?
Right.
We evolved into Web 2, into where we are today, much more sophisticated platforms, big companies, your Microsofts, your Metas, your Amazons, all of these e-commerce, where there is really an interactive experience. There's the website, but then both sides of that, right? There's the user and then the interaction they're having with that website itself and the technology. So that really interaction between the two. In the world we live in today, in a Web 2 world, we are the users of those platforms. Facebook owns your data, right?
Right. Yeah.
Instagram, LinkedIn, Google. How does Google make their money? 95 to 99% of their revenue is what?
Data.
Advertising.
Yeah.
And guess how they advertise? With your data, because you are the user.
Yeah.
And so what that means is it's not good, bad, whatever. It's just the reality of what
Sure.
we've created in the digital revolution. And the digital revolution has really happened over the last, let's call it 40 years, right? With the advent of the internet and World Wide Web. With Web3, it's an evolution. Some may say a revolution, but it's really about this blockchain technology. That's really what it's about. And the blockchain technology allows for an immutable ledger. Basically, everybody can see every transaction that's happening on the blockchain. And what that creates, what's the output of that, is decentralization, which is what you're going to hear a lot of people talk about with
Oh,
Web3. It's
okay.
decentralized, meaning you don't necessarily, let's be honest, there's still going to be, there are many big companies part of Web3,
Mm-hmm.
right? But there is a less amount of ownership that those big behemoths have with our data,
Yeah.
because it's living on the blockchain and we're able to own more of our data and create very new experiences with that. So what this really means, I think, as especially for events, and we're I would say at least 5 to 10 years away from like really crazy like Web3 metaverse becoming more of a norm.
Hmm.
But what we can start to think about is how can in-person experience, an online experience, a virtual world experience, how do they start to connect? What does our audience want in those spaces? What are they desiring? And how can we start to introduce this new technology so that it helps them relate more to our brand, build a better community, create more surprising, cool experiences where we get to feel in more ownership of our data, more in control of our destiny, right? And
Mhm.
that we have just as much skin in the game as the company. Right now, we're pretty much just users and being used.
Wow, and I love everything that you're saying because things are starting to resonate more, and I think everyone out there, especially in the events industry, we're all about the experience, and that's what you said. This is really about creating new experiences, and in the events world, we're trying to figure out what is new, what's next, how can we make this better,
Yeah.
because as our customers are getting more demanding as well, they want these new experiences. That they're not satisfied with everything that they've seen in the past.
Yeah.
So they're looking for something new. So the Web3 is fascinating to me. And this, for those of you who are listening and are followers of Trade Show U, this follows a pattern of several guests that I've had that talk about that human to human interaction, building communities, data analytics, and how we better use data. So just fits right in. So I'm getting a little goosebumpy here. So so Rachel, so you mentioned community building, and we all know we're trying to build communities, and I think not we all, but a lot of companies rushed in and they don't do it very well. It's kind of clunky. How is it in the Web3 world, and how is it more effective than what we've experienced thus far?
Yeah, I mean, here's a big difference. I think with, I worked at Microsoft, I worked at Gartner, I've done a lot of stuff when it comes to community building. I think that the difference is in a Web3 environment, right? I am a user in the sense that I'm going to use your product, your service, but more than anything, I am part of your community. Community is truly at the heart of Web3 projects. So whether we'll talk about coins, that we have a coin, or NFT projects, people hear a lot of stuff around NFTs, non-fungible tokens. That the reason why people get behind these projects is because they feel a bond, they feel a tie into that brand, and they feel like they have a piece of that experience. And so that's really what the opportunity is to say, okay, so since we're in an event sort of experience podcast, I went to Consensus, which is put on by CoinDesk, big,
Mhm.
big, 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 Web3 company. And Consensus here, several thousand people coming into Austin, all sorts of events, ancillary going around the city, and then going on the convention center, right? And so, sure, you have all of the experiences typical in sessions going on at the conference, but there's also the ability for people to collect NFTs
Okay.
or to be in a session and they're able to get coins. And as they get their coins and they scan it using a QR code, right? And they put things into their wallet, then they're able to get a cool shirt or something at the end, right? And so that is one of the big ways people are starting to use this technology in an event experience, is to really kind of gamify
Okay.
what's happening on site. The difference is with the past, where it was like, oh, you go on a scavenger hunt to get a cool shirt or something at an event, and then that was it. You got your shirt.
Yeah.
Cool. Sure, I would usually give it away to the kids. Maybe I like it, right? Most of the time, I
Yeah.
don't even collect the junk anymore because I'm like, I cannot have another branded water bottle.
Yeah. Absolutely.
When I'm going around at an event and collecting NFTs or I'm collecting coins, that's now an investment. That actually now has value. There's a potential for that to grow in monetary value. There's potential for that to be an asset. It is now my asset that I own, and that you as the brand can create more opportunities with that asset that now I own. So it really becomes the beginning of a relationship, the beginning of it.
That's
That
awesome.
then
Yeah.
that's now an investment opportunity for both sides.
Yeah, that definitely takes the value of the water bottle way down. Way down because
Yeah.
yeah, and that's the one thing about giveaways is we yeah, it's great to have something to give out that's got your logo on it, but if it ends up in going to your kids or going to someone else that is going to look at that logo and that brand and it means nothing to, that is then it's lost all value. It's like money going out the window. But this, wow, the possibilities of, like you said, creating. Well, first of all, it creates life beyond the event,
Yes.
and not only that, now it really creates that connection to that person, to your brand, your whether it's at the show level or at the exhibitor company level, you've now created hopefully a fan, a super fan, and someone that wants to know what is next, wants to know what else is attached to this, not just this NFT that I got or this coin that I got, but what else is this company doing? Because I love what they did for me so far, that
Yeah.
experience they created for me, and beyond. So can you give an example of maybe how a company can get started and figure out what should they do? Is it a coin? Is it an NFT? Or what steps should they take? What questions should they be asking?
Yeah. I mean, I think the question to first ask yourself, right, is when I was saying this to you earlier, like you have to understand your brand, your value proposition, your audience, what is, their thirst and needs and behaviors around testing new technologies, testing new things, right? The big thing that I think for any person is to test, right? Is to test. And I would never say go launch an entire Web3 community. We have a lot of Web3 communities live on Discord. Discord
Okay,
is like a
yeah,
Slack like community. That's where our Standout Authority community is. It links up into our Standout Authority coin, which is built on Solana, which is a crypto, right? So I don't think any brand should just dive necessarily into creating a coin all of a sudden, right? Or
hmm,
even an NFT. And you listen to a lot of the NFT experts, like that entire wave of just like people launching projects that were just pictures for picture's sake with no
yeah,
utility behind it. That ship is sailing. And a lot of that is coming on because of the change in the market, whatever you want to call it, bear market, recession, all this stuff. So it's a good thing because people now have a more responsibility, right, to create projects and opportunities that give utility, give something to your audience. What is something cool? One of my favorite projects that I learned about during Consensus was, if you've heard of Chive Media, they're a big media company.
hmm,
Chive, multi-million dollar company. They did an exclusive partnership with Bill Murray
okay,
to launch his newest and first ever NFT collection. He created a physical Bill Murray painting, which is really cool, right?
hmm,
That they then took that painting and then made it into a very exclusive collection of about 1,000 NFTs. The first 100, each picture had a specific story from Bill Murray's career.
oh wow,
Everything, we can go look it up. I mean, we tried to get it, my husband and I, and it was impossible to get it.
I can
And
imagine.
now with prices going up, it's well over 10K for one NFT.
Wow.
Oh yeah. So that is one way, right? Where artists, people like that, when I say artists, I mean actors, right?
Sure.
You see people, athletic stars, you see huge opportunities in music and artists in sports, right? Gaming, like all of those spheres. everything Web3 is just so fruitful because you know what's at the center of it? Fans.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fans and community. And so where you know that you have really great advocates and fans that want to build a better relationship with your company and with what you do, then that is where I would say think about maybe something like an NFT, but not just, oh, we're going to launch this collection of pictures, right?
Mm-hmm.
What can they get behind that? So if you have an event coming up and you're giving out a limited collection of NFTs from that event, maybe the first 100 people that get it get a free access to the event next year just
Ah,
by
okay.
holding it, but they have to continue to hold it. They
Right.
have to hold that, right? Not sell it. And that is a big difference in mindset when you think about Web3. There's value to holding an asset. You are now collecting something that is growing in value. That's how our coin is. I could have just said, hey, join our community. You want to be part of our coaching. It costs, $300 to be part of our cool. And we'll still take your money if you do just want to pay in dollars, by the way. Or you can pay 250 coin. That is your investment. And as our coin grows in value, guess what? Your investment grows in value. And at some point, if you're over Standout authority, whatever, you don't want to be a part of our community, guess what? You can go sell that asset and go bridge it out and make money off of it. Real dollar value, whatever your currency is. That's a very different idea to think that we're creating assets, right? It's not just a
Absolutely. Yes.
transaction. So you're moving away from a transactional relationship to a true brand investment, a true advocate. It's a completely big flip for marketers today. That's why it's something you have to think about today, because this is how you actually niche down and grow true advocacy, and transactional relationships won't work.
Whew, wow, this is amazing. It really, really opens up so many new opportunities. And I know there might be some smaller companies out there going, "Well, I can't afford Bill Murray. I can't." It doesn't matter. But you gave such great examples about if you are a show organizer, show planner. Yeah, tie that next year's admission into or registration into your NFT, the thing that you're giving out. But you've got to get creative. And what you said is just so critical. And I need to ask one more question, and I hope this doesn't open up a whole can of worms here. But you mentioned branding. Is with all of these opportunities, do you see, just in your viewpoint, because you're a brand expert, you do this on a regular basis, do you see that there's a lot of companies, if they do this, they're going to need to change their brand, or can they adapt this new technology, these new opportunities to their current brands?
Listen, I think that many companies are going to get wiped out as the web evolves. Just like it happened when, Microsoft, right? We're still part of the whole digital transformation, moving from servers into cloud, right?
Yeah.
That entire transformation. And guess what? The people that weren't paying attention and part of the ride into cloud-based technology, they lost out. That was the end of their company. So I think that most likely your brand is going to need to evolve. That doesn't mean it completely changes, but it means that whatever your value proposition in today,
Mm-hmm.
how do we sort of evolve it so that it's more expansive and inclusive of the real mission behind Web3, which is around inclusivity, it's around decentralization, which is really about ownership. It's really about us taking back the keys to our own house.
That's
Right.
just amazing. Yes. This is
And
this is
and I
great.
think that most of us are 100% behind that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think many companies have that mission about just the customer obsession, right? What they're doing. So, like I said to you in the beginning, it does come down to a real value proposition and brand conversation first and foremost before you start just diving into using an NFT or some sort of blockchain. And I think that every single company has an opportunity. There's incredible stuff in the metaverse, which is kind of similar, but not like it's a little different than Web3,
Mm-hmm.
especially at an event level. I mean, events is one of the key places where metaverse technology, I think, can completely be game changer for the customer experience. So, the biggest tip I can give, I know we're going to be closing out here, is to learn, right? To not be the person that is like, I don't know what this Web3 is, this NFT, my kid, what is it? They're doing they're wearing the Oculus. Like, you can't be, if you want longevity in an industry like events, which is usually one of the most innovative spaces, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
it's where we touch and feel brands. You just have to start learning, go to NFT London, right? Go to places where there's Web3 conferences and just start getting a feel for it all. Do your research, listen to great podcasts and great people. And it's a really exciting time, I think, to be a part of the world.
It really is. It really is. And like you said, just follow up on that in the event space. This is the time we need to do that research. We need to understand what's going on, not to dive into it so quickly, because I'm sure you can lose a lot in a hurry if you don't do this the right way. But Rachel, thank you so much for sharing so much great tips, so much great information. If people they're like, wow, I need to bounce some ideas off you, Rachel. I want to connect with you or find out more about what you do. What's the best way for them to connect with you?
Absolutely. Just reach out to me on LinkedIn or Instagram or Twitter, any of them. I'm the Rachel B. Lee, B as in boy. And then we're at, standoutauthority.com. I would love to hear from anybody. We are very excited to help other companies and brands bridge that space at Standout Authority. So thank you very much for having me today and hope to hear from many of you.
Awesome. And please reach out to Rachel. I'll drop all of her contact information in the show notes. So please do not miss this opportunity, especially if you're right at the beginning and she is just blown your mind, got the wheel spinning with everything that is possible. Or if you're thinking, wow, we really need to change our brand because we are so behind. We're an old company, whatever it is, reach out to Rachel and tap into that expertise that she has. They have a great blog. They've got all sorts of resources on the website. So please get over there at standoutauthority.com. And Rachel, thank you one more time. I really appreciate you joining me here on campus here at Trade Show U.
Thanks for having me.
Have a great day, everybody, and keep learning, keep binging, keep growing, and we'll see you next time here on campus. Trade Show University.